James Harden is on the move. So I'm a little bit late to getting to this, mostly because the Woj bomb dropped in the middle of the night, but it looks like the 76ers were finally tired of the nonsense and everything and the drama going on behind the scenes because Harden got traded. I'm gonna say right away, this is mostly probably because Tyrese Maxey is scoring like 30 points a game right now, and they were like, you know what? Maybe we don't actually need James Harden. Maybe we can send him off and just forget that all of this ever happened. So looking at the trade right here, right, the Clippers are getting James Harden. Obviously, Philadelphia is also sending PJ Tucker, which I don't think is a very big deal. I know PJ Tucker is like a name at this point, but his relevance on the basketball court is pretty minimal at this point in his career. And I mean, let's be honest, what they got back isn't exactly a haul either in terms of actual on the court assets. You get Robert Covington, who is starting for the Clippers so far this season. Historically a good role player, pretty past his day. I would say Nick Batum is exactly the same. At one point, a dynamic role player who his switchability on defense was what really like helped him excel in the league, and he was a good shooter. Again, kind of past his day, but I'd be curious to see if maybe he finds a little bit of a revival playing for a new team. A lot of times you see that with guys, right, where they go join a new team. You know, you get a little more energy, right? It's something new, something exciting. Marcus Morris Sr., Clippers fans were probably pretty done with Marcus Morris. He had some good years for them and everything. They gave up a first-round pick to get him originally, but his impact on the court's been pretty down. I mean, if he could play a little bit of defense and make some shots, then, I mean, great. You got something there that you can throw out on the court next to Embiid. Well, what's really interesting is the 2028 unprotected first round pick that the Clippers were willing to give up. Who knows what the Clippers look like by 2028? This could be a really elite asset, and I'm willing to bet that this pick isn't going to be in Philadelphia much longer, at least not past the trade deadline this year. I take it the Clippers like, look, we've already sacrificed every other draft pick we have, like kind of screw it. We want James Harden and we'll just give up the pick for it. But I'm willing to bet that Philadelphia is going to be trying to use that pick along with all these other nice contracts that they got, right? To say, hey, let's take these and package this pick and go get us a really good player. They have a Tobias Harris contract they can put in there too. Who knows what max contract player becomes available at the deadline. I should also note KJ Martin was also in the deal. KJ Martin, solid player in all regards. His three-point percentage, I don't know what it's been this year, but it was climbing last year. And, you know, he's a young body at the very least. And sometimes just having a younger guy to go out there and run a little bit for some of the older guys that make up a lot of this roster is kind of interesting, right? Like maybe he's a guy that's just slipping to the rim. We know he's a great above the rim player, or maybe he's setting screens for Maxey and rolling. It's another option, right? It's a young body that they can throw out on the court. So let's talk about Philly first. This obviously doesn't make their team like a whole lot better. Obviously, they have players that can play now as opposed to just not having James Harden able to play. So that's something in itself, right, to have those players. They cut Danny Green, who wasn't really going to be a part of anything this year anyway. But I think the on-court fit of these players isn't as important as the flexibility that they now have to maybe go make a move to try and stay in contention upon the trade deadline, right? I can't even begin to speculate who's available at that point, but the point is that they have contracts to move. They've got picks that they can move now that are of value. That 2028 pick is extremely valuable because, like we said, what do the Clippers look like at that point? I couldn't even imagine. So I'm not too interested in the on-court fit of these players. I just think it's kind of a moot point. Now, as far as the fit with the Clippers and James Harden, what does their starting lineup look like? We presume Zubats, Kawhi, Paul George, James Harden, I guess Westbrook or Terrence Mann. Westbrook's been playing fine so far, and I guess you have enough shooters around him to where that's okay. But that'll be kind of an interesting thing to see how they like to mesh all those players. Obviously, Harden and Westbrook have played together a multitude of times now in multiple different jerseys, so they're very familiar with each other. But the question is going to arise again, and that's how does James Harden play without the basketball? Because there's now 4 pretty ball-dominant players on this team, 5 if you count Bones Highland, who's actually been really effective with the ball so far this season, that, you know, I assume Bones Highland, right? We say we'd rather have James Harden with the basketball, so Bones, you're going to have to learn to play off ball a little bit, which might hurt his development a little bit. But how do these guys all fit together? And another big question I have is pace, right? You think about it, right? James Harden, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard, three of your three best players, presumably, all really methodical basketball players. They play at a slower pace. And, what does that mean for the Clippers' ability to kind of get up and down the court, get easy buckets and stuff? How do those guys play off of each other? I don't know. I think Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are a little more in tune with how to play off ball, but do you really want to be taking the ball out of probably your best two players' hands? Who knows, right? We don't know what kind of James Harden we're getting out of this. Another point to think about, this does help the Clippers in a sense where, like, injuries have been a concern for them, right? It's, can this team stay healthy? Now you might feel a little better giving like a Paul George like a rest night or something, because you're like, okay, well, now it's not just Kawhi Leonard out there, it's Kawhi Leonard and James Harden, right? And so maybe you can try to stagger that a little bit, but also you want these guys playing together, because this isn't a seamless fit like on the basketball court. There's a ton of talent. I mean, you were able to keep guys like Terrence Mann, Norman Powell, right? Like, you have a ton of really good players on this team. But how do they fit? Because the obvious answer is, like, James Harden has to learn how to play off ball a little bit. Like, if he knew how to run off some screens or something like that, that'd be great, so that Kawhi could facilitate. And you have to take your eye off of Kawhi just a little bit if you're a help defender, because Harden's on the move and he's a capable shooter. But I'm willing to bet that James Harden probably isn't wanting to play that way. So I'm very curious to see how they set these things up. And like, right, like, even if Westbrook's on the court with him, how many shots can Russell Westbrook make from the corner, right? That's going to be a big question. He's going to need to space. He's going to need to go to the corners. He's going to need to cut off of Harden getting to the hoop and kicking, right? Like, how effective is he at that? And then respacing. Things like that. You don't have a stretch big on the team that can kind of help alleviate some space issues like that. Zubac is a primarily around the rim type player. You can't put him anywhere else unless he has a surprise three-pointer that he's been hiding from us. If there's something that I'm the most excited about, though, because of this trade, as I guess interesting it'll be as a basketball fan to watch James Harden trying to play with these guys, I'm honestly happier that a guy like Tyrese Maxey doesn't have to share the ball anymore, because he's been phenomenal to start this season. I can't say it enough. Like, and I think the most interesting part, not even the scoring, we knew the guy could go get buckets if you gave him the opportunity, but it's been his playmaking ability, which has been a criticism of his, right? They're like, okay, if Harden's not here, how much can he create for others? He's getting you like 6 assists a game or somewhere around there right now. And it's like, okay. And I'm pretty sure the Sixers have had like a different guy leading in assists most nights, which that's a good problem that's not really even a problem. That's just a good thing to have on a basketball team, right? If everybody's kind of touching the ball, that's great. But yeah, I'm so excited to see that Tyrese Maxey kind of just gets to go be that guy now. I mean, what is his ceiling? Do we think he can be an all-star this season? Could he be an all-NBA player? That's not something I would have guessed going into the season, but man, right now, it's kind of starting to look like it. And, he's going to have a lot of other, at least just quality veterans on the team to help him do what he wants to do. But yeah, let me know y'all's thoughts. I think this is an extremely interesting move. Like we said, this doesn't necessarily make Philadelphia all that much better as a basketball team, but it's what happens after this. Let me know where you guys think that pick's going to end up eventually. I can't imagine they're going to hold on to it past this deadline. Their window is closing and they need to strike now, but I guess they also have to hope that someone becomes available. And then the Clippers. Is James Harden going to sign an extension here? Is this where he's going to end up? I have no idea. You guys let me know what you think. I never know what to expect out of this guy. So I can't wait to see it, because something funny is going to happen at some point. But yeah, thanks as always for watching, you guys. Subscribe. Definitely leave a comment on this one. Leave me your thoughts on this one. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.